This video is about a button action code, but we are already a little know about it, so it will be not only about button, but also about other things. There is the Press Me button. It doesn't have any other codes in its settings except the action code. We also have no triggers here, because button has only one trigger, button pressing. This button is in the header. Let's add a button to the rows part. Button. Button. We leave the Press Me. Save. When we open the adding row, we'll see that the button is locked by default here. We will discuss this point later. What I want to show you is the following. Here we have an action code. And here we have other checkboxes. These are not triggers, but actions that are associated with clicking a button. For example, uncheck the checkboxes after execution. In case there are checkboxes here, the user can click on the button. In the code you can get a list of the id of those rows that are marked with checkboxes. This is possible to do through a variable called ids. This can be used to perform an action only on ticked rows. In case the option uncheck the checkboxes is selected, then after performing this action, all checkboxes will be unchecked. We'll explore this further in the pop-up section. Close the window. This option closes the window with the button after the action is done. Next, the action is available on viewing. When a table is read-only, but, for example, to get into a cycle or perform some action, the button must be unlocked. That is, he cannot change anything, but he can press the button. In this case, for the button to be available, we must switch on Available on Viewing. Next, Available in the adding row. When this option is enabled, this button will be available in the adding row and will be able to perform an action in the adding row. It is necessary to open pop-ups from the adding row. We will look at this option specifically in pop-ups. Here is some general information for now. The next is to open the context panel. In this case, when you click on the button, it opens the same panel as the right mouse click. It is useful, for example, if you have a bunch of additional buttons coded there and you want the user to be able to click on this button and select a specific action. Let's finish up this button. Usually I remove the drop-down menu, because you don't need it in the buttons. I erase the title of the button to make it look nicer. Using this button as an example, I will show the following. We have an exec button function that allows us to execute another button. We have here, for example, a button in the header, now table name, and we have it called an H button, where in this case, we don't need order either. I'll remove the open context panel. Save. So what happens? We click the button and nothing happens, but not because the button doesn't work, because there is a condition there, that only if the checkbox is true does it work. We put a checkbox, Press Me, and here's the change. Here everything is reset to 200 and the checkbox is cleared. That is, pressing this button caused an action that clicked this button automatically. Accordingly, there is not only an exec button, but also an exec button list, in order to press several buttons at the same time, if we are talking about a rows part. Now the last trick. If the log is true, we can see that the script is writing a value to the field. And we can write some text of our own instead of the script value. In this case we pass some text instead of true. Well, let's put the value of 300 here. Save. And again we do this change, put checkbox, Press Me, and now we can look at the log and see that it is written not as script but a button from header. This is useful for debugging and for recording important operations. That's all for this video. I recommend that you practice and then move on to the next video.